Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Glenn's Gallery is an art game with subpar art. Imagine that. It's not something that I look at, I'm like, man, this is some great artwork in this game. Instead, what you're going to get is you're going to get this predictor game. So you're trying to predict how many people will be in an area in each of the areas, and if you're right, you're going to score more points. And as you play cards down, you're going to increase or decrease the number of people in that area. And if you guess correctly, you score big. If you don't guess correctly, you don't score big. And that's kind of what it is, like this weird predictor game. I guess the different areas of the rooms that the galleries are art, but it's kind of weird how it all fits together with the theme. I don't think it works too well. The game is okay. It's about a 4, maybe 4.5 on BGG. It's not something you'd be readily excited about. It's an all right game. And there were some misprints on the board, I believe. It just didn't add up to a good production. This is not one that has any kind of interesting decisions. If you like the idea of having cards in your hand and trying to predict that out, that will be interesting to some people. This is unique in that respect. I just don't feel like there's anything strong here. We're going to get this game. You're going to want to play it over and over and over and over again. So for me, maybe a sometime game, maybe something you want to try out. It's called Weekend Rentals. I'm going to go to the store and get video games. You know, your mom would take you to the store and you get a weekend rental. This might be it. I don't think it's something you want to add to your collection. Purge for me. Here's Glenn's Gallery. This is obviously going to be an auction game about art. You're going to see a lot of comparisons to modern art. You can't help it, right? Here's the rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to have these boards. If I remember correctly, some of the boards have some misprints on them. It's unfortunate, but I think that's what happened. And that's what the board's going to look like. I mean, for an artist game, the art doesn't look that great to me, but these are nice cardboard, as you're going to see. You're going to get these old generic wooden pieces that you used to get in games all the time. You really don't see these as much anymore. This is not very thematic. It'll bother some people more than others, but the game is a little bit older, and that's just the way things were back then. This looks like a custom insert. It is custom, but not for this game. So this doesn't really fit the pieces of this game very well. You're going to have some cards. They're okay quality, nothing great here. You can see Glenn there with his skunk, I guess. You can see the different artwork and things. Some very weird things going on here with the art. Look at that guy. That dog looks scared to death, doesn't it? It's okay. So, I mean, you know, a game about art, you would think there'd be good art in the game, but, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? So you're going to get some cards, you're going to get some of these, and some wooden bits. That's it. Not too bad. Here's the rule book. It is colorful a little bit. The green background's a little odd. You can see a couple pictures here. Components, no pictures of that, but it's pretty easy to figure out. Setup, you're going to have the rules of the game. Lots of text here, right? And kind of small. Maybe a little on the small side, but I've seen smaller. With some pictures, and here's some examples that you'll see there. Not too bad. And then the scoring on the back of it, you can obviously see that pretty easily. You probably need about 15 minutes to get through this rule book, maybe 20, depending on, you know, how quickly you can download the information. It's not a difficult game to understand. A lot of it's just the bidding in it. This is going to be a gallery. It's going to be one for each of the types of art. And on here, you're going to be guessing, you know, 5 or more, 3 or less, 2 or less, 1 or less, 7 or less, 8 or more, etc. as you're going through. And these are predictions that will be made. In each room, you're going to have a number in a white circle. This will be how many goodwill points or etc. you'll get if you're correct in your predictions. And keep in mind, there are one of these for each type of art that will be down when you're making your predictions. Each player will get their 4 prediction pieces, and this one that's a little bit different, it will be your doubler. And everybody will have one of these in their own color. Then this will be the scoring board that you'll have. Each player will put one of their scorings down here at the bottom, ready to score on these locations. So I'm going to show you a quick example. Each round, you're going to play 2 cards or 2 actions per turn, and these are customers. And I'm just showing these 2 because these are the 2 boards I have out. So you could play a customer down here, and you could play a customer down there. And that would be fine. That would be your turn. You also have these art students that are there, and they take away customers. So let's say on my next turn, I was going to play one of these. I could take one of these customers away, and that would be one less customer that would be at that location. And you're going to make predictions on these with these tokens of how many people, art students you think will be at each location, etc. And then you're just going to score points for that and go up. And what Glenn is looking for is anybody who would score at least 5. So once
a person has scored at least 5 on each of these tracks, they'll kind of move up here as the game progresses. It doesn't have to be the same person, but as long as at least one person is a 5 on each track, then the game will end. So let's talk about how a turn goes. On your turn, you may place a prediction. Now, there's going to be 5 of these boards. I'm only showing you 2 for room purposes. So you could put a prediction down anywhere you want. Obviously, the later in your turns, the more likely you are to be right because you have a little bit more information, but somebody may take that elusive spot. So as you're placing people down, if you want that spot to have a lot of people there, then you'll continue maybe placing things down here so you can be right, get to the 4+ and gain the point. While someone else, like say you had a prediction over here of maybe like you would go 6+, somebody may play a card and take this away to try to make sure you don't score those points. So regardless of whether you play a prediction piece or not, you must play the 2 cards down. Let's say I placed 2 here like I did there, and maybe in a future turn I would play that, and then maybe 1 over here also. So you're playing 2 cards per turn. Optionally, you can play a prediction down. Once everybody only has 3 cards left in their hand, and they have a different number based on number of players. So in a 3-player game, you would have 11 cards, 4, 9, 5, 7. Once you have 3, everybody just plays their cards simultaneously on the board at the same time. You will only play 2 of your cards, but not the third one. So you would discard 1, you play these face down, and then you flip them all over, and you place them on the board where they would go. Then, after everybody's played their cards, you will move up based on whatever scores that they played. And once again, if at least one player has become a master 5 or above in every discipline. So it doesn't have to be that the red player has to be 5 above. It could be red, blue, yellow, green, whatever. Then you score whoever has the most points is your winner.
Who should buy this game? Art fans. So if you like the theme and the artistic nature of it, that could be for you. And it likes to take a look at their hand and kind of predict. Have you ever played like with those trick games where trying to predict how many tricks you will get? This kind of does that with the pricing of it. The rest of them take that and they respect that, you might load up to get your prediction right and somebody's going to try to break it down because they know that what you're going for, they can kind of see that. This is definitely one, I would say, it's a mediocre game at best. Try it before you play it. It's not something you want to insta-buy unless you find it very cheap. For me, it's going to be a Purge.